Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello. We are from Group 1. My name is Muhammad Ikmagimi and my partner Muhammad Al-Farid. Today we will present to you our research literature review, which is a learning, which the title is Learning at Home Using Technology. This is what will be present to you, which is the introductions, methods, outcomes and discussions, and we have three literature reviews subtopic, which is learning techniques and technology use, difficulties when learning at home using technology, impact by learning at home using technology, conclusion and references. For the introduction, as we know, nowadays novel coronavirus disease COVID-19 pandemic already affected nearly 3 million people in 148 countries, and it has been killed many people all around the world. During the COVID-19 pandemic, there are many impacts that have been happening around the world, such as on the academic, but there are also another problem that have arisen, such as on the educational institutions. As we know, the educational institution is the most important for the student and teachers, because it is the place where they can engage in social activities and human contacts. And education activities are done using the online communication application or software, which can provide them with the video conferencing and distance learning service. By using the online communication applications, student and teacher also can done their class period, even though it was during pandemic, and even the student from coming from the different countries. The parent also need to face a difficult routine, which they need to monitor their children learning process, even they need to work from home. This is happened because this was a government initiative on a way as a way to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. The next one is methods. For the methods, we are collecting our article by using the online search engines. The online search engine that we use is the Google Scholar. As we know, Google Scholar is an online publicly available search engine that allows people to search through both physical and digital version of any articles. The keyword that we are used on searching the articles or the research materials must be related with the title, which is learning at home using technology. We also added the PDF keywords at the back of every search keyword, which is because we want to find the article file in the PDF file form. The articles are filtered and selected which the published years within 5 years from 2016 until 2021. There are 11 articles are selected for the research. And the next one is the outcome and discussions. As we know, the COVID-19 has caused a health crisis as well as a learning crisis to the educational institutions. One of the important factors in the student academic experience in teaching and learning activities is their inspirations. The student will lose their interest. The student will lose their interest, and it will bring a negative outcome to their learning process if the learning activities do not attract their interest. It's because the interest is the force that make the student focus all of their intention to a particular thing, such as during learning process or learning activities. By using the technology, it also bring difficulty and impact to the students. By using technology into the learning process during at home also is the student and teachers because the online or distant learning is not limited of and their interaction between them can be done easily anytime or anywhere. The process on learning at home using technology also can bring the many impact into to the student and the teachers, whether in a positive way or negative way. For the
In
next
the
one.
outcome and discussion, we have divided the articles into three themes, which are learning techniques and technology use. Second one is difficulties when learning at home using technology. And the third one is impacts by learning at home using technology. Okay, moving on to the first one, which is learning techniques and technology use. In learning techniques and technology use, education program has been going through a lot of challenges to make sure that the process of learning for education can run as usual as before. With the expansion of technologies and internet, for sure, this brings significant changes to education system. Nowadays, it is understandable that the surge of learning development is not always easy, particularly considering the transformation that has been sudden from physical class to online class. This is why virtual education has been a routine and main option for students to learn. There are various of learning techniques and technology used during this pandemic COVID-19, like using communication applications for communicating, use technology development for daily use, and even access online material through online platform where students no longer need to go to library to find book resources. The people need to bear in mind that all of these techniques are in online mode as we are now trying to reduce the physical contact and at the same time trying to reduce the risk of infected by this pandemic COVID-19 virus. And also at the same time, we want to deliver teaching material to the students as effectiveness as we could. Okay, moving on to the next one, which is difficulties when learning at home using technology. While we are learning at home, for sure we will face difficulties to make sure that the online learning happen. The main issue are having hardware and software issue. Means that people need to have good technical arrangement to be used along with the educational software to make sure that the program runs smoothly and do not interfere the learning process. Other than that, people need to aware of the connectivity status because the people are relying on the connection. And without good connection, people will have problem to connect to the platform or system. Other than that, people also need to emphasize physiological to make sure that the stress issue or something that couldn't give stress to us are avoided. This method is important because there are no face-to-face communication session, and we worry that people couldn't solve their problems by themselves. Moving on to the third one, which is impacts by learning at home using technology. When we are learning at home, for sure there are pros and cons. Several impacts that people can have when learning or teaching at home are like flexible time and comfort place, both for teachers and students, as they can be wherever they want and at any time. Other than that, lecturers also can save time taken to prepare the class compared to the physical class, as the material for classes, once it is prepared, it can be reused for the next class. For example, in a week, let's say that in a week, lecturer has 3 classes with the same subject. Lecturer can use the same materials to teach or to be used inside the 3 classes. The next one is students can practice adult learning value outside the class session, like develop self-motivation and self-learning skills. For example, the student can learn how to communicating well through online platform, can learn how to submit assignment on time, learn how to manage problems by themselves, and many more. Moving on to conclusion, in a nutshell, we can see that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought a great cost to the people, especially the people in educational institutions like students and teachers. The distance learning or online learning has not been a common part yet of the most education institutions in the world because from physical class to online class, it has their own limitation to proceed it like before because of the new way of learning and technology that have been evolved. At the same time, students' interest is critical in teaching and learning process as it is a guiding force or a guarantee to achieve the goal of completing the learning process. Apart of that, we must know that the use of technology and learning techniques during learning at home for sure has its own difficulties and impacts like we have discussed just now. In Malaysia, we can say that it is quite adaptable for Malaysia's system education as we can see nowadays either the universities or the school level also using online method to teach their students. For the last part is references. The next page of references. That's all from me, Muhammad Farhan SD, and my partner Muhammad Iqbal Hakimi. Thank you, Prof. Selamat Hari Raya.